playing time, and some of our they're getting a lot of production on those juniors and sophomore classes. They've really grown up throughout the season, and the thing that we challenge those two classes to do, we've got a great small senior class, and just to add to their leadership and quit waiting around just to let the seniors carry the whole load. So some of the juniors, the Randall stepping up, Isaiah Wright, you're playing at a high level, your leadership, especially with your class. It was a good one for Healy. We're hoping to get some of those guys back, to play for us. So a lot of rehab and a lot of guys healing up. We had 3 days. The older guys didn't practice, actually 4 days. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the older guys didn't practice, and then we gave them Saturday off as well. We had two developmental practices. So it was just the young guys, the guys that are redshirting. Some of the guys that may only play 8 to 10 plays a game, they had some special practices. We basically treated it like a spring ball kind of setup. And they got a ton of reps. They did all our special team circuits, all of our blocking circuits, tackling circuits, individual. And then we had 2 scrimmages or 2 periods where they really just played ball. And we called it. The nice thing about how we do things, so we don't really use cards in practice. So our defensive players, our young defensive players, every single day when they're replicating Navy's defense or Army's defense or whoever's defense, we use our calls and our terminology. So they're playing our defense year round. Same thing with the offense. It was kind of hard when you're getting ready for an Army or a Navy. But other than that, we're using our terminology, our formations, the way we call our plays. So they're just year round doing that. There's not a lot of places that I've been that's not just truly card based. But we do that because we want to develop our players throughout their career. And that's been good for us. We go out there and we go, the young offense versus the young defense. They've heard all of our words and terminologies that are executed at a high level, which has been good. We got a scholarship to Nitro. Robert Shabato, I think probably a lot of you guys saw the video. It was a special moment. It's a special kid. He plays a lot for us, plays fullback, plays running back. Starts on 2 of our special teams and as a backup on the rest of them. The special thing about Nitro, since Rock has been banged up most of the season, there's been weeks that Rock hasn't really practiced, so Nitro's had to take a ton of the reps. And then somehow Rock finds a way to get in there on game days, which, is great. Nitro's never selfish. He's never, upset. He's willing to do that for the team. And so I think it's special. And he also is a kid that has a 3.7, 3.8 GPA and a really tough major. So when you can reward those kind of people, I think it makes everybody in the organization better. And I've gotten asked about, defending, getting ready for Army. I thought we did a nice job defensively. Defending the triple option, the thing that got away from us was the passing game, especially the 2-minute situation at the end of the game got away from us. But just purely defending the triple option, I think we did as well as anybody that they've played all season. Navy, the difficulty that they pose is they run the triple option, but they pass it very well. So the things that we didn't do well against Army are things that Navy excels at. And so we've made sure that we've gone for the last couple of days and having the extra day or 2 days of practice help to get all their pass routes, all their things that they do that are unique from Army ironed out. Scout team players of the week. Last weekend's Army was Griffin Sestilli, a young offensive lineman, Sean Gabriel, one of our new walk-on defensive players, and then Sam Kramer was the special teams scout player of the week, did a great job. And then I think some of you guys already saw, but the jersey number 1 is going to be worn by Dan Archibald. He's a redshirt freshman, does an unbelievable job for us. He started a bunch of games, but just a tough, physical kid, unselfish kid. And he's another kid that I don't know if he's gotten a B since he's been in college. So that, hats off to our academic support staff. Justin Miller and his group did an unbelievable job with our players and really the whole, all of our student athletes. But kids like that, like Dan and like Nitro, that played, Division I football, one of the best conferences in college football, and still do good in school, I think they should be celebrated, and we can do that. We do that for Dan. So, questions?
Coach,
Geoff, when you look at the Navy offense, are there any subtle differences? Is it a little more slot back oriented as opposed to Army? Or?
Sure. So here's one of the biggest differences. So Army would do some unique formations, but a lot of times they would bring the tight end in the game to do those unique formations. I don't know if you guys noticed, but we were bringing Shargett in. Whenever they would do that, we would bring Shargett in and to defend those special formations, and did a pretty good job with it. The thing that Navy does, they never change personnel. So they don't bring the tight end. They just have their receivers come and do those different positions. So they kind of add multiples to what they can do. So it's, it's the formations are still as intricate as Army, but they don't give you the heads up personnel-wise that they're coming. And, so we've got a lot more checks and all those than we had to have versus Army. Because against Army, we just bring Shark in, and he could make it all right because we knew they were coming. Navy doesn't let you know they're coming. But they throw the ball more. Very tall receivers do a great job in blocking on the perimeter, but then they can stretch you horizontally. And I think their slot backs are very dynamic. And the quarterback can spin the ball too pretty good. So he was a kid that played against us last year in the championship game. One of the leading rushers in the country, but he can also spin it. He won the game against Air Force last second threw a dime into the end zone to win the game. So we got a healthy respect for their offense, a lot more misdirection, and they've got some legit athletes on the perimeter as well.
Jeff, will Sharp have a role at defensive end on Thursday?
Probably not. Probably not. No, he'll just play fullback for us, play tailback for us some if needed, and then he'll do a great job on special teams like he has been doing.
How much do you think he helped there? What did you see?
It was awesome. I mean, he did an unbelievable job for us. In a role we were kind of short personnel-wise that game, so he came in and did an unbelievable job for us. And he just had one job to either squeeze and take the dive, or if they ran away from him, to run it down and make plays, and he did that for us, and we're very proud of him.
Coach, coming off the triple option is a lot of work. You had your bye. How much easier is it coming off of the bye, knowing that you're preparing for the same kind of offense?
Yeah, so there it's twofold. So I think it is good for us because a lot of our young players on defense hadn't played that offense in full live setting. And our scout team does a great job, but it's totally different when you line up against it. It's, they're motion and running all their triple option plays. And but it's also conversely, a lot of times Army and Navy, when they get ready to play a game, they really don't know what kind of defense you're going to play. They practice every single day. They a 3-4, a 4-3, an 8-man front, and they just run their play. Well, they just saw us 10 days ago defend it, so they can really watch that tape and digest everything that we did versus Army. I think we did a really good job defending it. But we also are kind of giving them the answers to the test on how we think is the best way to defend it. So obviously we've got to come up with some new wrinkles, to combat what they've seen to what they do. So it's an advantage for us. I also think it's an advantage for them too.
Coach, for somebody starters out, the downside is obviously that hurts on the field, but can you not help but be happy to see how some of these young guys right now are getting snaps they wouldn't have gotten? And
absolutely.
While you're looking at the present, it's only going to help in the future.
Absolutely. We've got some really young players. We had met with the seniors, and I think there were 16 or 17 in that room, and I think 4 of them were specialists. And then I met with the juniors, and I think we had 28. And then I met with the sophomores and a couple of the redshirt freshmen that are playing a bunch, and there were 33. So, it's exciting, but that's why we challenge them, because we love our senior class, and we're fighting tooth and nail to win every single game for them. And but just the leadership part and the experience that they're getting is invaluable. You obviously hate it to happen because of injuries, but then you always look at the bright side of it is, get the rehab, and these guys are getting valuable experience that is huge, and they're getting in games.
You said you met with the juniors and you've been kind of looking for someone to provide some leadership. What are you kind of looking for from Rafael? Because after the game, you said he came up to you and said, give me the ball and power, and I'm going to score it. Right. You trust him enough to
absolutely
do that. So what's your relationship with him like, and what are you looking out of him?
Yeah, I mean, he's been awesome. He earned the single digit. He was one of the hardest working kids in the offseason, the hardest working kids during preseason camp, and he's proved that this season. There's weeks that he can barely walk, but he cares so much about his teammates and what we're doing as a team that he was willing to lay it all on the line to go out there and perform and help them to play really well. But just, there's a lot of different types of leaders. There's some guys like Sean Bradley and Delvon Randall that are rah-rah and that are going to run around and get everybody going. Those are great. I don't know if Locke is that kind of leader, but the kind of leader that he is tough, he is physical, he cares, he works hard, he has relentless effort in every single thing that he does. And he's an example for what we want in this football program as a player. And that's leadership as well. He's tough, he's physical, doesn't say a lot, but that's okay. He's a great teammate. And so those kind of examples are invaluable. Dan Archibald, he's a young kid, doesn't say a lot, but every single rep that he takes is like it's a game time rep. And those examples, that's leadership. And I learned that from Marcus May, who's now starting as a rookie at safety for the Jets. When I first got to Florida, I kept challenging him to be a leader. And what I was looking for was a rah-rah, stand up in front of everybody. But May grabbed me one day in preseason camp. He was like, Coach, you keep saying this. Just watch me today. Watch how I go about my leadership style. So I sat there and watched Marcus May. There wasn't a play that he wasn't talking to somebody or after a play happened explaining how something happened, what they needed to do better. He wasn't going to stand up in front of the whole team and rah-rah. But every single play he showed leadership and he worked hard. So I think those kind of things and those kind of experiences, and I share those stories with guys that like Rock. That's okay. Same with Sean Chandler. He's so much like Marcus May. He's not going to stand up and rah-rah and give these great speeches, but every single day he works and he cares about his teammates and he communicates with the guys behind him. Here's how you will become one of the elite safeties in college football. Do this, this, and this, and just do it over and over and over, and that's what he's done throughout his career. And I'd say the same thing about Rock.
During the bye week, what were some of the things you looked over during what have you done so far as head coach?
Explain that.
Like saying how, through the first six or seven games, how would you say have you done as a coaching job so far?
I think every single game, we always challenge our players to get better every single week. And I challenge myself, and I've even been very transparent in this room with you guys about some of the things that I've improved on throughout the year and continue every single day, to get better and be very reflective, because it's hard to be a leader of men if you're not very self-critical. So I always start with myself, what can I do better in this situation, this part of the communication, those kind of things, and, have discussions with the staff so we come through after the game. This situation came up in the game. How could we have handled it better? How could I have handled it better? 4 or 5 of those happened. What could we have done in this situation to get better? We watched college football on Saturday because we were off, and you come back in and, hey, did you see this? Let's have a discussion about it. What could they have done better? So you're constantly trying to improve. And I think the guys understand that we're doing that all times, and they appreciate that. So they know if we're hard on them and critical of them, we're just as critical on ourselves as we're on them. So everybody's trying to get better in this program.
How has the preparation been since it's a short week?
Say it one more time.
How has the preparation for Navy been since you guys are playing on Thursday?
Yeah, it's been a different bye week because traditionally you have 2 full weeks, to have a full cycle. But we had to have a Sunday practice a Tuesday practice on Sunday. So that's been a little non-traditional, but kind of the season's been that way for us. We had back-to-back 6-week preps, right? And then we had an 8-day, so it's just been a little different, but I think we've managed it well. The kids have handled everything, every schedule change. So all day Sunday I was saying, today's Tuesday. The whole day today I've been saying today's Thursday. So that's just the way we have to look at it to get ready to play.
What have you thought about Frank coming in last week and playing against Army? And also, is this a chance for him to maybe kind of showcase himself now, getting another chance?
Yeah, I thought Frank did a really good job, provided leadership, and he always prepares well. But I thought he really prepared well for the game. He was all into the game plan, was in here as much as the coaches were, so I was really proud of him and how he performed. And the way the guys rallied around him, we're down 7 starters, but they all rallied around each other to play a really good football game. And I thought he made some good decisions. Probably a couple of throws he wished he could have had back. But other than that, I thought he moved the offense well, had composure, had leadership, and just really tried to make the other people around him better and elevate their game, so I was proud of him.
If Frank were to get hurt on Thursday night, would Marcy be his backup?
Yeah, it's probably, I mean, Russo's been getting all the snaps because Logan's still, we don't talk about it much, but Logan's still not 100%. I think he could probably go in an emergency, but right now we've got Russo been taking most of the backup reps. And he's done a really good job. He's gotten better. He took all the backup reps to get ready for the Army game. It was okay, he was good. But I think he elevated his game even a little more since we've had this open week to prep. And he went through the developmental practices. So I think that was good.
Will Russo also hold this week, or will that be Marcy again?
It'll be marching.
Does Frank really want to, obviously, when he knows he started a game and he knows he's going in as a starter again this week, does he look any different in practice, like a little bit more of a command of the offense? How have you just seen him grow over the past couple of weeks in terms of just how he is? I know you say he's always prepared, he's
Right.
very passionate on the field, but like, how has he looked over the past couple of weeks just in this role specifically?
We really haven't seen much change because, the thing that I say all the time, and we say this building all the time, how you do anything is how you do everything. He's the same. He's always been a good leader. He's always had, control of the offense, knows what everybody's doing, and he's just gotten better. And I think, he proved that he's able to compete and play at a high level against a really good football team. So he really hasn't changed because that's just who he is. And if you spend any time with his mom and dad, that's who they are, great people. They're a big family that is very close, and that's kind of how Frank goes about his business every day in the locker room as well. And so they're really proud of him.
What do you think about Mikhail played? I mean, he used to start left tackle and then go inside the guard. A lot of guys talk about what that adjustment is like from week to week, but to do it in the same game and play as well as he did, at least from what we could see. What did you think of his play?
I think if you just sit back, I went back, I watched the game twice offensively. You just watch how all those kids, James McHale played tackle and guard. Jalen Robinson, since he's been here, probably 90% of his snaps have been at tackle. He played guard for most of the game and played at a very high level. And we talk about all the time position flexibility. Ever since I've gotten here, that's all I've talked about, position flexibility. The more things that you can do, the more value you have in this program. The more things that you can do, the more value you have when it's time to go to the next level. And so we preach that. The kids buy into it. They know that the more you know and the more you can do, the better opportunity you're going to have to get on the field. And so I think James McKellen is an example of that. Jalen Robinson is an example of that. And I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Gordon Thomas. 5'9", and I might be giving him an inch. 300-pound walk-on that comes in and starts at center in a Division I college football game and does it at a high level. I mean, there should be articles upon articles are written about that kid and what he's come through, or what he's gone through to get where he is. And it's a 5'9" walk-on playing center and playing at a very high level. And so I was just really proud of him. I tell the people who do our games, so we sit in our team meetings, and I don't think I told you all the story. We sit in our team meetings. So there's first seat, there's second seat, there's third seat. So I sit right next to the third seat when we do special teams meetings. So I always put my 3 favorite kids in the program in those 3 seats. And my ultimate favorite kid, and I make no secrets about it, sits right next to me in the third seat, and that is Gordon Thomas. So since we came back in August, that's how the seating chart has been. And Gordon Thomas sits right next to me every single day in every team meeting. No guarantees that he's ever going to see the field. And all of a sudden, because he works hard every day, he knows the game plan, he knows the ins and outs of our offense, knows all of our calls. He gets a chance with Hennessy being down, and then Picozzi being down, and then Brian Carter being down to start in a Division I college football game and do an unbelievable job at it because he's always ready, he's always dialed in, he's always a great teammate, always has a great attitude, and good things happen to those kind of people. So those people that do those things should get rewarded. And he did it, and then he balled out in the game, did an unbelievable job.
How will Matt play this week?
Yeah, we're hoping so. We're hoping so. And all the kids over there's a whole list of the guys that we're hoping that'll be much better than they were. You know, and so he's one of them.
You were out, the defensive side of the ball, you were out, Dogby and Quincy Roche, are you expecting to have them?
Yeah, and then Julian went down during the game, you know, so we're hoping to get them back. You know, they're probably right now listed in the NFL terms as questionable, but we're hoping they'll be back. And the nice thing about the way we do things, so we practice in the morning. So the thing I told them this morning right before we went out to our Thursday practice is when practice ends, you still have 58 hours to get ready for our Thursday night game against Navy. 58 hours to rehab, 58 hours to get in the cold tub, to stretch, to rehab, to get in the game plan, to watch the tape. You still have 58 hours, and that's huge, because all the heavy stuff is done. Now it's more mental, and we'll do some walkthroughs, and our walkthroughs are pretty high pace, but there's not that physical pounding that happens, so they've still got 58 hours to get ready. And for a team as good as Navy, you know, we need it, so we're going to use every advantage we can.
Okay.